Good evening, everyone, and I'm back playing Battlefield 1942, and this time I thought I'd play a map from the Road to Rome expansion. As I previously explained in my last Battlefield 1942 video, which I recently found out was nearly 2 months ago, which is kind of scary because the month of May went forever for me. That felt like just like a whole year in itself. And then June and July have kind of gone by quickly, but alas. I played a lot of Secret Weapons of World War II because I liked the weird altered map designs and whatnot, but I don't recall playing a lot of Road to Rome. Now, of course, my experiences playing 1942 were largely confined to me being maybe 5 to 6 years old and playing this game, because I guess that was, the most age-appropriate game I could have played at age 6. I guess I was worse, these days, especially these days, I guess this is worse. I don't know. I mean, I've heard some pretty shocking things about Roblox these days, but alas, going back to 1942. So I just don't remember any of the map layouts for whatever reason. Not like they're bad or anything like that. It's just for whatever reason I don't remember them. And I figured I would record some gameplay going through some of these maps and go through them and just see if they hold up and see if they're still fun to play. And well, the answer, most people don't really get to this point of the video anyway, let alone the remaining 12 minutes of runtime. But the answer is yes. The maps do hold up really well. I mean, 1942 has its issues, maps are very barren and basic in their geometric design, but, they still hold up from a gameplay perspective, especially if you can get, like, a huge amount of bots. Like, I know in my Battlefield Vietnam video, I was able to break some of the, so in some videos anyway, I was able to mess around and break it a little bit by incorporating, like, 255 bots. And from what I understand, that's very much doable here as well. And to be honest, I should have probably done that instead, but I just wanted to kind of enjoy the game in its vanilla state before messing around with it anymore. Now, how would I go about that? I'm not 100% sure, but there'd be enough tutorials online, enough like guides and all that with the modding community to be able to explain how that all works. Because the 1942 community, in terms of modding and online, are both active. Like, it's not as popular as Battlefield 2, but it still has a pretty loyal following. I mean, it's Friday night at 11:21 p.m. here. And there was a good 50 to 60 people playing Battlefield 1942. Now, of course, that's not peak in Europe or the US, like peak out gaming hours, but it's a little bit off peak, a couple of hours before, I presume. I don't know, my knowledge on time zones is pretty poor, if I'm going to be honest. I should know better. But, there's people playing it, and there's even like an Australian server, there's even a co-op server, so it's like, okay, for me anyway, I can still pop on and give the game a go. I'm not sure how the game transitioned from the GameSpy servers to the third-party master servers that they now enjoy. I know the story with Battlefield 2 was a lot more prolific, and as was the case with 2142 as well. Actually, I mean, that had obviously the Revive project, and then when that went down, it was dead silent for like a year, and then the Reclamation project got that back to life. But with 1942, all I know is that there was just almost a GameSpy master server emulator, kind of like how Forgotten Hope 2 does things, and I guess how Battlefield 2 Hub probably does things to an extent. But yeah, it's just a bit elusive, and I found that relatively interesting, like an interesting piece of history, because, again, this game's online server shut down around about the same time as Battlefield 2's, yet not really much known about it. So I'd love to know if there's anyone who does have any knowledge. I mean, I know there's a few Battlefield modders who will watch my videos from time to time, and if you guys have any knowledge on what happened with this game in between that period, let me know, because I'm actually really curious. But anyway, I've been going on excuse me, I've been going on about that for a minute. I've had a really nasty cough these last 2 weeks. I got sick like 2 weeks ago, and the cough has come back with a vengeance. I think this time last year, though, I got pretty sick, and my throat was in all sorts of shambles as well. It seems to happen, well, it's happened 2 years now, and the last 2 years I've worked in retail jobs where you just chat to people all day, so I guess that may have something to do with it. But it's also, you get exposed to a lot of people, and a lot of people tend to go places they shouldn't be going while they're carrying rather unpleasant infectious diseases, and unfortunately I've managed to catch one. But anyway, so excuse my coughing midway through the video. I'm kind of padding at the runtime a little bit, maybe. Yeah, going back to the game though, and again, Jesus, the factions in this game are kind of funny, because in the Road to Rome expansion you do get to play as, usually the Royal Italian Army, the British Armed Forces, the US Armed Forces, and the Germans. But you can also play as the Free French Forces, which I always thought was a little bit strange. I mean, stranger rediscovering that now. I thought that was really perplexing, because, again, they had their own weapons and everything like that, but it was the only map, at least in a single-player capacity, where they were playable in. And I believe, actually, going further on that, I think it's actually literally the only map that they're playable on, but I don't know why they made a whole new faction just for one map. I mean, it would have been cool to have them in other ones, but, oh well, that happens. It's like the Canadian faction in this game is only on one map as well, which is kind of funny. It's just weird how they do all that. I mean, I guess, it makes sense from a thematic standpoint. It wouldn't make much sense to just not include them and just include one of the factions already there, but to put the extra effort in there is appreciated, but it's just kind of strange. And this map with gameplay tended to be very favorable in terms of video recording. Like this is going on really nicely so far. It's a good assault map. It shows off the strengths of the game really well, which, needless to say, is a bit more of a basic form of Battlefield 2. I'm pretty sure I went by this in my previous Battlefield video, but, I figured it might be worth just bringing those points up again, considering everyone's attention spans are in the mud. And it's also been about 2 months since I last played this game. Recorded it / played it, really. Yeah, the battles do drag on for a bit, and it's kind of funny how the AI have similar weaknesses to Battlefield 2. If anything, they're a little bit worse. Just because, like, they have that similar problem where they'll take ages to follow your lead, or you'll often go into battle and battle against multiple bots, which, of course, in this game, they're not very... I mean, you crank the difficulty up and they're a challenge, but if you play them on normal, they're, they have their moments, but they're generally not too bad. And then your allies will eventually arrive. It's kind of funny because in some of the Battlefield maps, like, it feels like when you play with bots, it's almost predetermined for it to be a loss for you under certain conditions, like under certain maps with certain faction combos, like Strike at Karkland, for example, in Battlefield 2, especially playing with 64+. I find that it's really difficult to be able to capture all 4 points because the bots on your team just slowly make their way up, or they get killed really easily and you run out of reinforcements, and then it just becomes something of a meat grinder or a bit of a standstill. This isn't necessarily the case, or, well, actually, now I think about it, yeah, it kind of was the case, actually. And, I mean, not many other maps seem to really go against the grain on that. It seems to be a common thing in this game where you kind of get stuck nearly at the last point or at the second to last capture point, and then it just becomes a bit of a stalemate of sorts because the bots are able to spawn quicker and catch up and all that. And I'd say that'd be arguably the biggest flaw of playing these games with bots, is just those sort of the lack of unpredictability can often just leave you a little bit wanting, especially when these games can often go on for half an hour or so. I guess that's part of the reason why these games are so popular online, because they're all very dynamic. Who would have thought? But hey, speaking 20-something years later, 24 years later, a lot of us are sort of only stuck with playing these games through their single-player experiences, so it's just something to note nonetheless. I also love that the classes are really archaic and just really focused on their one thing. I kind of wish Battlefield would go back to that to some extent, because I feel like people are too spoiled by Call of Duty being too much of a one-man army type thing. And having played, Project Reality and Forgotten Hope 2, all those Battlefield 2 mods that bring back the tactical shooter experience, would just be nice for Battlefield to kind of acknowledge its initial roots by being, very class-focused, very teamwork-focused. I mean, we're in an age of individualism and whatnot, among other more dire things, but, it would just be nice for a shooter to be able to just kind of bring that all back. I guess Insurgency kind of does that to an extent, but it's a niche tactical shooter, so I guess it kind of makes sense why it's like that, unfortunately. I will say that the vehicle combat is a lot of fun in this game. It's very, again, if I had to describe it, rudimentary compared to Battlefield 2, but there's still a lot of fun to be had, and particularly if you can get, you got a whole map where it's just tank combat, like everyone's in a tank or something like that. I can imagine it'd be probably more fun than World of Tanks, I'm going to be honest, because you don't have the predatory free-to-play bullshit that World of Tanks has. But it's just one of those things where, again, the maps just naturally kind of fit themselves really nicely with tank combat and vehicular combat. Something that, again, it's been a part of future Battlefields, but it feels like it's kind of gotten less in focus, even going back to, Battlefield 2 and onwards. Like, this game just, everything's really wide and really open and just invites you to just, take a tank down the countryside and just blow shit up. I guess, Bad Company 1 kind of brought that back to an extent, now I think about that, but then again, that's also the Battlefield I played the least in the relative scheme of things. Bad Company 1 was fun, but I never really got very far into it, and I would have liked to have done the achievements for it back in the day, like the multiplayer stuff, and I had an opportunity to, but I kind of left it too late, and I instead wanted to focus on Bad Company 2. But anyway, I've been giving you a good exhibition of all the classes. Again, different, just different roles. I don't know, it just would be fun. I mean, I say that, but I'm not saying that people would be yearning for this, because people would say, oh, back in the day, everyone was just doing this and everyone was having a good time. But we diverged into the current gaming landscape because of things that we wanted to enjoy and things that we did. Like, we can't be saying, like, oh, no, people actually didn't want what they've got now. No, they got what they wanted. That's exactly why things are the way they are at the moment. Fortnite is the way it is because it's, people wanted the crossovers. People liked the crossovers and went for the skins and went absolutely batshit crazy for the skins, I might add. And then Call of Duty did the same thing. So, I don't know, I've bitched about this before in other Battlefield videos, you know, how the simplicity of 1943 would not be appreciated. I still stand by that. That hasn't changed in 2 months. My mental health was in a bit of a worse state 2 months ago, but I still stand by that, even in my healthier mental state. It's just how it is, isn't it? At least we can appreciate these for what they are. And I will say that running this game on modern versions of Windows 10 and 11, I'm still saying Windows 10 is modern because it still is, and honestly, Microsoft's plan to phase that out is just, you know, a disaster. It's intention, it's malicious intent. There's no other way to describe it. But, you know, Windows 10 runs this game no problem. Windows 11, I presume, would run it no problem, although I haven't tried it. I do have a computer with Windows 11 on it, but it's the laptop that my former job gifted me in a raffle. What luck for me, I guess. I've often joked that that is probably the one thing that I had go right for me this year, and then nothing else has gone right for me since. But hey, you live and you learn, and you know, I'm an adult now, so I guess I've got to have something go my way. I guess I've got to make it work my own way now, right? But alas, yeah, the game went into the stalemate that I described earlier. You know, trying to break past this bridge and sustain an assault over the other side of the bridge proved to be rather challenging. However, upon further discovery, I was reminded of this old... I remember doing this on the Omaha Beach map as a kid, actually. I was trying to figure out where the ammo crates were coming from, or where I was getting ammo from. And then I decided to explore the buildings, because again, the buildings are awesome that you can just explore these just casually. I mean, you know, playing actual online with actual people, these would probably be used more strategically than they are in single player, but it's still funny to see us nonetheless. But I was reminded of this, and it was just literally just grenade spam. You just grenade spam the enemy capture points and just go gung-ho on them and just cause immense ticket bleed. So obviously I did not record the whole thing of this because this took several minutes. It took a ridiculous long time to drain the tickets because you just have to run back and forth and get maybe 10 kills every about 5 or 10 seconds, which, you know, doesn't sound too bad, but when it's 200 tickets, it's going to take several minutes. And I don't have enough things to say to cover that long. I wanted to record it because it would have been pretty funny. It would have been pretty funny to speed it up and just show you, but I kind of forgot, and I didn't want the recording to take up too much space because I had just one recording going at that point. And with NVIDIA Shadow Player 1080p at 60, combined with the video editor that I use, Kdenlive, having to export things at 60, the file size for videos doubles, and it's just my poor external hard drive, not even external hard drive, the mechanical hard drive I have as a secondary drive on this computer is begging for mercy. Thankfully, mechanical hard drives are still somewhat affordable, although they'll probably change in the next 6 months, knowing our luck, because I'm dead set serious about getting a 4TB one just to expand all this, even though I've got 3 SSDs and a mechanical hard drive in this computer. So anyway, on that note, my throat's giving way on me, which is a perfect sign of the times, isn't it, for my throat as of late. I decided to round it out with a bit more vehicular combat, and then after the vehicle blew up, I decided to just simply go to grenades. But we're going to be showing off a bit more vehicular combat here. I love the 3D HUD. I mean, it's very simple. I mean, it's reflective again of, you know, World War II didn't have the high-tech HUDs that the M1 Abrams and the T90 had in Battlefield 2, but it's still really nice just to have them 3D modeled and just very immersive. Again, it's just, again, little things in this game just still hold up really well despite the barren nature of this map, barren natures of the map in general, and so on and so forth. I really don't have much more to say, but I hope you enjoyed the gameplay because it was a lot of fun to play. And that's the most important thing, really, is that it was just fun to go back and just fun to play this for a good half an hour or so, and not so much fun trying to condense it down into a watchable video for everyone, but I don't suspect many people would be at this point of the video anyway. But if you are, thank you for sticking around. It's, you know, kind of gets boring. Hey, you know, I can presume it only be boring for everyone watching because I'm just rambling all the time, but I try to keep things structured very loosely. But yeah, I mean, that'd really wrap things up. I mean, I got to this point and then you know, the enemy spawned way too quickly and blew up the tank, and I decided the best thing was to do was just go back and spam more grenades. So you'll be seeing that pretty shortly, the demise of this tank after a valiant battle, slaying hordes of poor Italians. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this video is probably going to be banned in Italy or something, but that basically wraps things up from there, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I don't know what I'm going to be doing next, really, in terms of videos. I say that a lot, but I genuinely don't know what to do next. I'll probably find something to do at some point down the line, but I don't know. Life finds a way, doesn't it? But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.